Welcome to the Thirst World Problems Podcast, where we talk about drinks, current events, music, and more. Now, here's your host, Nick Dugal, and his panel of experts, B, Bell, and the infamous Doc.
All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Thirst World Problems. This sounds so different because I am actually hosting today. There is no Bell. Bell is not in the building today, so it's just the dynamic duo of myself, Nick, and B. B, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. It feels like 2005 where you were the host.
Yeah, and maybe the intros where I had the host, Nick Dugal. That was pretty good. Let's get down to the nitty gritty here, okay? The nitty and the gritty.
Shake, crossover, step back.
Let's talk the Lakers' big three. We'll talk about the NBA draft in a bit, but the Lakers' big three. Russell Westbrook getting traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for, was it Kyle Kuzma? Who else was there? Who else got traded? There was two draft picks, second-round draft picks, I believe.
Two second-round draft picks,
right.
Kyle Kuzma,
Montrezl Harrell,
KCP, and Montrezl Harrell.
Caldwell Pope, yeah. So give me your thoughts on that trade and what do you expect for the Lakers, as well as, let's talk about the Wizards, because if you really, I'll speak my view on it, but I'll let you go first. What is your thoughts? Let's start with the Lakers first. What are your thoughts on the Lakers trade?
Well, for me, I think there could have been a better piece to fit. Let's put it that way. But, I think we know what Russell Westbrook does for a team. And at the end of the day, if 3 of your 5 players on the court in crunch time are those guys, I think you feel pretty good about yourself, right? I think that's the main thing. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things with, hey, isn't Westbrook just a mini LeBron, or aren't they the same? And that's understandable, but a lot of the time, I think LeBron, what he's done is he's been able to defer a lot. Like, we've seen him defer to Anthony Davis now. He's called him, the primary scorer and the guy that's got to get the ball. And he did that with Kyrie Irving, and those guys shine. So I think when you're on a LeBron team like that, it's different than, if 2 guys similarly were playing elsewhere. That's just kind of the greatness of it. And now one thing I am worried about would be definitely the role players.
Or the three-point line.
The 3-point line, yeah. I saw that meme, right? What's going to stop these Lakers? And it's the 3-point line, right? Yeah. But obviously that's, I think, lacking, right? LeBron and Westbrook aren't the best 3-point shooters, right? Obviously, they shoot it in volume, and AD's, for a big, he's a good 3-point shooter. But I think they definitely need to round out the roster with just a lot of shooters, because you have probably 20 assists a game between LeBron and Russ now. So, but the nice thing is those stars are there. They always say the stars come to LA. So, apparently this is just what happens. So I'm sure some role players and some shooters are ready to sign. These guys always have people in their back pocket in terms of, hey, sign here for this or this. So I have no doubt they're going to get people, but I do like the move. You have to stir it up, right? We saw at the end of the year here, they just couldn't score, right? They didn't have that wow factor. And now with having 3 stars, one goes out, hopefully you can put the bandage on and beat a team like, the Suns with just 2 instead of 3.
What do you grade this trade for the Lakers?
For me, it's tough because the Montrez is just weird to me, because he could have signed for 80, 90 mil, and he signed for like 30 mil last year, right? So that was weird, and now he's gone, and he opted into the 9 mil. Kuzma didn't work out, obviously.
But what do you grade this trade? Give me the grade.
For the Lakers, I'd give it a B+ to an A, because for them, they kind of had to do it. If you don't do this now, you're literally wasting the LeBron's last 4 years, essentially.
Well, and then for a guy like KCP as well as Kuzma, the fact that I'm pretty sure these guys are on social media all the time, more Kuzma than KCP, I'm assuming, right? But when you hear that the Lakers literally spoke to every team in the organization of the NBA, every team, trying to trade these guys. If it's not one, it's the other. If not, it's both. There's something that it's always going to be one or the other, right? And the fact that you're, as an organization, you're trying to let these guys go, how does that affect you as a player going forward? So is this something that, you're going to build and grow as, since you're a Wizard now? How does this work for the Wizards? The fact that these guys got 3 good players. It's really good players. It's a big upgrade on the Wizards roster, right? But how, as a mental psyche, how does this grow for you?
I think it's a positive for all these guys that left. Just because I don't think for KCP, because KCP is just a shooter, he can kind of score anywhere. This might be bad for him, but for Kuzma and Montrez, I think like Kuzma was underperforming a lot under those bright lights, right? We saw Lonzo leave, and he's been playing amazing for the Pelicans.
You think it has to do with LeBron? LeBron's expectations?
I'm sure LeBron has a say in it. Like, did he walk in and say, "Hey, I want Kuzma out," and blah blah blah? I don't think so. Were there background conversations? Hey, I don't think this fits and stuff. I see it, right? So it's, I think all of these guys, honestly, as crazy it is, I think they get that it's kind of LeBron's, it's his world, man, right? So if you're out, you kind of just say, all right, man, I didn't perform, I'm out, right? And I think the Wizards will be good for Kuzma. No lights, right? You're with Beal, the attention's on him. And you're the second scorer, and hopefully can pick it up a little bit, right?
What do you grade this Wizards trade then?
I like it for the Wizards too. I'll give it like a B+ for the Wizards, because it makes them a little funner to watch. And Beal seems like he just wants the money, right? So, which is what I'd be doing. So, I think he's just signed a Supermax recently. And
have you ever seen him talk to his AAU team?
I think I have. I think I've seen that in like it's a St. Louis team or something.
Yeah. If you ever watch that, watch it. It's the craziest thing. I've never seen one person talk to little kids and just hype his own demeanor. But
that's the one where he kind of scares them, right?
He scares them.
You don't know what it takes to get here, or you think you're this, but when you get on the court, like, I'm this, and I'm like, he was just like telling him, don't think it's easy, right?
Exactly. Basically. Yeah, exactly.
So.
Crazy. Lots of stuff happening in the NBA right now. Like, for example, today Tristan Thompson just got traded. He was supposed to go to the Hawks, and then now the trade turned into a 3-way trade, so he's going to Sacramento. So a lot of things going on. Did you watch the NBA draft?
I watched a bit of it. I didn't really know too much this year. There's certain years I'm locked in, certain I'm not. So
I knew like the top 5 or 6 guys. That was pretty much it. After that, I was just like, who? Like, all right.
How about the Raptors passing?
Did you see that though? It was funny because the cameraman was on Suggs, panning the cameraman to Suggs. All of a sudden, he doesn't even get drafted.
Oh, they thought he was locked in.
They thought, because the camera guy knew he was locked in. He's like, hey, they're going to draft him. No, that didn't happen. And I see why they didn't do that, because it was either, do we get this guy and, kind of work something out? Because everyone knows, Kyle Lowry's basically leaving. He's gone.
Yeah, that's a handshake agreement between the Raptors and him that they're going to find something for him.
Exactly. So now do you put Van Vliet in the driver's seat, obviously, because you couldn't put Suggs in the driver's seat. You couldn't put him as the shooting guard. Right? That's a tough decision. I think
they're saying both of those, either one that they picked is clearing the way for Pascal to leave.
Hey man, I'm all for that.
And I wouldn't be for Pascal to leave. Like, obviously, we clown Pascal and stuff like that, but he's still a top.
He's a good player,
7,
but
8
I think
power forward in the league, or whatever he plays.
I think what happened was that whole situation where he got benched and he was like, Nick Nurse was like, fuck off, right? Yeah. And Nick Nurse is a proven coach, man. So, the fact that this guy got the bag, I think, I'm pretty sure he's going to try to be one of those guys where it goes, that's not going to affect me. And I think once you got that money, like your hunger and your drive.
If Pascal Siakam leaves, are the Raptors a lottery team?
Are they a lottery team?
Keep in mind,
no. Even if he stays,
that dude went to Portland too.
Even if he stays, Norman Powell.
Norman Powell's gone. Siakam's gone. Lowry's gone.
Yeah, but if you trade Siakam is a good pick. He's a good piece to a team. So they're going to expect something back, right? And, that package.
See what the Sixers are looking for Ben Simmons?
Oh, dude, that was an NBA 2K trade.
They wanted Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, one more player.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Raptors trade.
No, the Sixers.
Did you see the Raptors one?
No, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
The Sixers offered the Warriors. This is funny because you would think the Warriors would be trading for the superstar player, right?
Right.
So the Sixers.
Oh, okay, so the Sixers are asking for
the
this.
Sixers.
Okay.
The Sixers are trying to get rid of Ben Simmons. So they asked for James Wiseman. He was top pick, right? One of the top picks.
Yep.
Great center. Andrew Wiggins. One other player, he's slipping my mind right now, known player, and 3 first-round picks, man, for Ben Simmons. And the Warriors just no.
Just for Ben Simmons?
Yeah, they denied it.
They'll never negotiate again for a while.
Imagine how much that knocks your stock down.
Oh yeah.
Right,
dude. Think about it. That's an NBA 2K trade you try to do. If you're a Sixers fan, you do that as an NBA 2K.
It's too much desperation.
You know what? You can tell they're forcing because they want. I think what they're thinking is people want Simmons, right? But people don't realize, the league doesn't realize that you're never gonna get more for a superstar. You're always gonna degrade your status.
Yep.
It's a proven history. You're never gonna get equal value, right?
Yep.
So I think these guys and people know, they want to get rid of them because they want to win. So what's the desperation? What is the Sixers willing to give up?
Yeah, there's no point of jumping at it right away. The best thing to do here is just wait it out so that when the trade deadline comes or something, you get him for crazy cheap, right? And then the Sixers will just want to move the contract, right? That's the unfortunate part, right?
I feel so fucking embarrassed now because I went on Josh's podcast, Rodriguez, on the Dime, and he got everyone to pick a NBA team. Obviously, he made me do the Raptors because he's probably the only Canadian guy that he knows, right? Which is me. So I picked Jalen Suggs, and I gave him a reason why, and it was literally the fucking opposite. So I clearly went on his podcast talking about how the Raptors were going to win the NBA Finals with Kawhi, and the trade was amazing. I went perfect on that. I just totally went to the opposite.
We were on that. We went on that over Zoom.
We were on that, yeah. And now I just feel so stupid because I'm just a total opposite. They're probably like, what the hell is this guy talking about with the shitty voice, man?
Yeah, the Raptors were literally a one-night stand. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but it was worth it, though, man.
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
100% worth it because when's it going to ever happen again?
Right.
It might never happen again.
Now, there's lots of talk with Dame happening here. I know you hear saying Dame never, let's clarify this. He never said that he wanted to get traded.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation.
But what he said was he wants to see what the off-season transactions are before he makes the decision, right? So that is huge right there. So do you think Dame is going to stay or leave? So far, it looks like he's about to leave just because they haven't done anything, right? You can't keep that same roster. You re-signed Norman Powell. Cool. What are you doing to get over that hump?
So they're the team apparently in the driver's seat for Pascal, right? So a starting lineup, I don't know how they're going to make this happen because I feel like you have to move CJ, but if it was Dame, CJ, Pascal, Powell, that's
not going to happen, man. You think Ujiri is just going to allow that to happen and make that team better? Ujiri's going to have something.
But if you add Pascal Siakam to that team, though, they're a top team in the West. So I think that maybe was what he means by he wants to see the transactions. Because if they can't pull anything off, then it's a different scenario, right?
You don't think Dame's going to leave?
If they add Pascal, I don't think he would leave.
Yeah, but I think what you're getting at is I don't see Pascal going to a team and the Raptors getting nothing in return.
Well, that's the thing. The dependent is what comes back, right? If I were the Trailblazers, I'd be like, I'll just flip you Norman Powell back because the disgruntled Siakam, right?
Okay, but what if? And I know I used what if. What if Dame wants to leave? Where do you think he would go? Where do you think you can see him
Yeah,
go
that's
to the next step?
well, that's tough because I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 years left in his contract. So if he does that now, the thing, see, this is the thing about loyalty with stars and stuff is like, since he has been this loyal so far and he has been this vocal so far about his loyalty, it kind of forces the organization's hand of, if he's like, hey, I want to get traded, they almost kind of have to help him go somewhere he wants because he's been so vocal about loyalty, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but do they have to?
No, they don't have to. But
That's more of just a gentleman's agreement, like
yeah,
the Raptors.
they don't have to, but it kind of makes them a little bit because it's like, and it might kind of, the fan base might be against it that, hey, why aren't you helping him a bit? Because he has been so vocal. He's never been cutthroat about, hey, I'm out if this happens, like an Anthony Davis or something, right? So they might have to listen to where he wants to go. But that's the crazy thing, man, is for a superstar like this, if I say, hey, there's 3 teams I want to go to, the Trailblazers aren't going to get a trade done with anyone besides those 3 teams because for a Dame, you have to give a haul. So is a 4th team that Dame didn't mention going to trade for Dame and then he might just leave after 2 years? No, they're not going to do it. So if he says 2 or 3 teams, they're basically trapped into trading him to those 2 or 3 teams because other teams, then they're just giving stuff away for a rental and he's not going to like it because that rental team is most likely not going to be the same situation. So
Your glasses are just amazing. I'm like mesmerized right now. They're not circular. They're like,
they're more of like they're kind of like a square situation.
it's like an octagon, man. They're like UFC glasses, man. It's crazy. I'm like mesmerized. That's all I kept on looking at your glasses. I was like, holy fuck. This guy is a true young man. Let's move. Let's still talk about sports here. How am I doing as a host? I think I'm doing pretty good.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know. I think I got.
I don't even know who the other guy on the podcast is. At this point, we might as well kick him off.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you right now.
I feel way more at home like this.
Yeah, I'm not even wearing pants right now.
He's always asking these questions about someone's murder, like coming to
Always
his
talking about
house.
murder.
Yeah, someone in your. I don't know why he's so stuck on the. You look through the garage door and someone's killing someone or something.
Yeah.
Like older fans will know this. This is always what Bell brings up is you look through the mirror and you see your neighbor putting a dead body away or something. What do? Do you call the cops or do you just not do anything? Because when the cops come, they're going to question you and think you were a part of it.
But
Stuff like that, right?
But the way he does it, he'll be like, so do you think the cops are going to come see you or do you think you're going to get away with it?
It's very eerie. It's a very eerie way that he does it. So.
Okay. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about the Olympics. Have you seen anything in the Olympics yet? Have you watched anything?
No, I've been avoiding it. I don't like it without the crowd. I'll put it that way.
Without the crowd. So
It
you think
just-
that whole crowd being gone just ruined the whole moment?
It didn't for me for football and basketball.
What about wrestling?
But it is. It was horrible without the crowd. But because the wrestling with the crowd is a
Different.
very main part of the whole show, right?
Okay.
Because they show them all the time. But yeah, no.
But you haven't watched one event, nothing.
No.
Wow.
I've been avoiding it because the Olympics is a gathering of the world, right? And
It doesn't feel like
when
it.
the crowd isn't there, it's not a gathering of the world. So that I'm pretty sure these ratings for the Olympics are very low.
Oh yeah, I think it's one of the lowest in a
Well,
long time.
again, it's probably expected, right? So,
Right, exactly. So if I give you some categories, would your mind get blasted? The fact that you think that I'm going to throw some riddles at you if you think that this is an Olympic sport or not. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's go with which Olympics which do you think this is an Olympic sport? Skateboarding or rollerblading?
Skateboarding, final answer.
You're right there. Wow, good job here. What do you think is the Olympic sport here? Handball or breakdancing?
Handball, final answer.
Wrong.
No way.
Breakdancing.
What?
Break dancing. Dude, back to the skateboarding. The 13-year-old won skateboarding. A 13-year-old. Imagine you being 13 years old and you just won the Olympic medal in skateboarding. Yes, and there is breakdancing.
What's that skating event that's like the biggest every year? I used to back when obviously we used to play like Tony Hawk and stuff like that. I used to know what it was.
Like the X Games?
The X Games, that's what it is. Yeah. The X Games. I used to love that in the old Disney movies, like the Goofy movie. I don't know if you remember that.
What are you talking
In Goofy movie, this is a vivid memory to me, like in my childhood. And they go to like this skateboarding competition, and it's at the X Games. And I don't know, when you said skateboarding, that's what I thought of. So,
is that nostalgia for you?
oh yeah, dude, I rented that movie like 15 times, man. Goofy
Really?
movie.
Really? That's a lot of rewinds.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was on. Yeah, it was tape. Yeah.
Speaking of nostalgia, I'm just going to throw questions at you like left and right here.
Even.
Nostalgia here. What's the biggest nostalgia you've had where it's been a disappointment? So you had it and it was so hyped for you back in the day, but now you actually came back around it and it was one of the most disappointing things you ever had.
Fuck, that's a hard one, man.
I'm hitting the hard questions today. There's no friction or none of that shit. This is legit here.
Fuck, you gotta give me time to think about
Okay,
it.
I'll give you time, but I'll tell you one of mine. So I had this urge. I really wanted to play this fucking game so bad. Midnight Club. I don't know if you heard of Midnight Club. Yeah. Dub Edition. Remix. Okay. With the big timers in the beginning.
Yeah.
House real big. Dick
Oh, it's real big.
Everything.
Real big. Let me show you how I live. I used to play that all the time.
Crazy.
Belle wouldn't believe me though.
Crazy, man. So I wanted to play this so bad. Okay. I searched far and wide to find a PS2. Found one. Now I had to find the game. Little did I know, apparently there's a markup for this game. It was brand new games were going over $100, $200. Fuck that, I'm not paying for that. Just give me a used one. I just want to play it for a bit and that's it, right? Found one for $5. Cool.
That's when you go borrow it from your cousin.
Found one for $5, right? Found it. Brought it back home. Tried to play it. Didn't load. Fucking, I lost $5, whatever. Found another one, $15. Found it. It barely worked. I didn't care. You can hear the PlayStation just fucking working so hard on the disc, right?
Just trying to read the next layer.
The next layer
Yeah, scratched
their
You take it to
shit.
Blockbuster, you try to fix it.
Yeah,
do
exactly. So I play it intro big timers. I was going off. I'm like, oh, this is
Because
crazy.
it goes like, and it's like a crash in the house, bro.
Yeah.
Right away, you're going crazy.
It's a
right?
crazy,
Jaw the cup.
yeah, it's a crazy intro, man. You got Jaw the Cup in your hand while you're playing, man. Just
Maybe a nice aloo.
yeah.
It's like a Saturday
You have to
morning.
pick your car. It's only from 2004, so you have to pick like a 2004 Mitsubishi Eclipse or Lancer or Golf GTI Red, right?
And then you scroll a couple to the side. You're like, oh, which car? And you see the Hummer H2.
So yeah, so then you go through the other ones that you have to unlock. You just get Hummer H2, Dodge Ram.
The Elise was like a good car.
Elise,
I
yeah.
remember, yeah.
So then I picked the Eclipse, right? Picked the Eclipse, and then it takes a while to load because obviously, it's an old.
you literally picked a pedestrian car.
Yeah, I literally picked a.
That's a fun car to drive though.
I used to have an Eclipse.
I've heard
but
that's
not
a
that
fun car
one.
to drive.
But not that one. That was like if you want to go to school and stuff back. That's it, right? Good economy car, right? You get it. So it's loading. Starts playing it, and I just dropped the controller. I was like, dude, this looks like shit, man. So I'm driving it because in my head it was so different from what it actually is. I was thinking there's pedestrians. It's like it looks good and stuff.
Thought the NOS would be a little bit bluer.
Yeah, it just looks a little more detailed, but everything was blocky. There was no people in the city. Shit, it just looked like shit. And I was like, start playing it again. The controls felt like crap. Oh man, that was the worst thing ever. I literally dropped everything. It just ruined it for me.
Yeah, that's unbelievable because that was one of my favorite games. That and Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah, man. Was it Riders in the what's that song called?
The original Need for Speed Underground, man. Oh my goodness.
2 was good.
2 was good too.
The
But
Yin Yang Twins and T.I.
the original with Lil Jon, he went
Was it Get Low?
crazy. It was Get Low.
Yeah, man.
And there was a couple other ones, banger tracks on there. I used to know the whole soundtrack, but I got stuck on this one level, man. I never beat the game. It was like one level from in the story. There was a turn, like, so it was like a timed lap, right? And you come around. It's like, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in Japan or something, right?
Okay.
And you come across, and there's kind of like a turn, right? And if you don't hit the turn on the drift properly, you have to you hit it, and you drift through, and you come around, and then when you exit, you have to exit clean. And I remember like asking people like, hey, how do you beat this? And when you twist around and you're coming out of that turn, you have to NOS it. That's where you have to use your full NOS, or else the timing, like it's a time sprint. You're not making it to the end. And we tried so many times, like 30, 40 times. We just could never hit it, and we could never finish it. So and when I read about it after that, apparently the last level is very easy. It's more like that's like the hardest level. And that drifting that corner, I can never do it.
I remember me and my brother get Midnight Club 2. This is when you have to buy a memory card to save stuff, right?
Yeah. That 8 MB, man.
Yeah, we didn't get a memory card, right? So we played it all summer, and we were at the final level. We couldn't beat the final level.
You didn't turn the console
but we
off?
didn't turn it off. So think about this. A console was on for 3 months, 24/7.
No issues.
No issues.
Yeah.
But it was getting loud.
Was it the fat PS2 or the slim?
It was the fat one.
Yeah.
It was
So
like the original.
You have a nice amount of ventilation in there. Because I used to have a big fan at the back too.
No, so that's the thing. We had it in a cupboard. You know those old school like Punjabi.
Yeah.
You know those old
You
school
close
Punjabi
it after?
close it. Well, that's what we did. So all the thought is just fucking sticking out.
There's a nice white printed.
Nice print over top of the TV and shit. Right?
No, sometimes you even put it on top of the PlayStation. So there's like a white print over the
It's
PlayStation.
for the dust, and then sometimes it just falls off while you're midway playing, and you have to like put it back on, right? So we didn't turn it off, man. It took us 3 months to beat this one fucking level, man. It was the craziest thing ever. Crazy, man, crazy. It's crazy what you used to do back in the day. Now you're just like, I can't believe I did that shit,
Dude. You used to save 10 to 20 games, full story games, and never had an issue with saving. And the memory card was 8 MB. Think about that. That wasn't even that long ago, man. Like, how the hell were we saving? How were we saving full games?
Yeah.
8 MB is not even one song.
Yeah.
Not 8 GB for all you 8 MB.
GB. But you know what else is crazy? Some games were not even a gig. Some of them were like 500 megabytes.
Well, man, they couldn't have been a gig. They had to be like, honestly, like we should search this up. I can't see, for example, Midnight Club being anywhere more, and it's gonna be funny, than 100 megabytes, man.
Because what's a normal
CD
was
ROM?
it on a CD or was it a DVD?
It was a DVD ROM, so that would be
What's a DVD ROM?
That would be like 7 gigs, is I think what it used to be.
DVD ROM 7
Like
gigs,
7.6 or something.
and then what's a Blu-ray? It's 50.
Blu-ray's 50. So
Okay,
those
so
weren't
7
Blu-ray.
gigs.
Yeah, so it's tough to say. Were they using it all, or because remember CDRs were 500 megabytes, a lot of them,
Right.
or 750 when
Right.
you buy the spindle, like the Maxell spindle or whatever spindle that you buy, right? But DVDs were 7, but there's no way you can be saving that part of a game on 8 megabytes unless the system knows where you are and it just saves the checkpoint. And then when you click the checkpoint, it's not really saving the game there. It's just kind of telling you, okay, I'll put you right here.
But
You know what I mean?
Isn't that what a memory card is? It members.
Yeah, but
It members
it remembers it.
it, man.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I gotta search this up after because that makes 0 sense, man.
Yeah.
Are we sure it wasn't like 80 gigs or something on the memory card, man?
But you know, you're right though, because like you can buy a memory card, and at the time you have to get the only one. You can't just get any memory card, right? You have to get the actual PlayStation.
You have to get
one.
the official
one,
Yeah.
and basically, yeah, it's like $80 for 8 megabyte.
You ever have, no, this is a real question. Did you ever have a multi-tap?
Yes, I did. I didn't have the
That thing
official.
was huge, man.
I didn't have the official.
Plug it in.
I did
It was
not.
like a brick.
I had a Mad Cats.
Right from EVGA.
Mad Cats. That's the worst part about back in the day because you'll have one legit controller. The second one will be a Mad
Everything's-
Cats. So
Everything's Mad Cats. You look at it. The PlayStation logo is supposed to be blue. It's green for some reason.
yeah. So the Mad Cats. So whoever had the Mad Cats always had the disadvantage because it was never as quality.
Well, yeah, because the button, it would just like
would
anything
lock-
you use, it's
it
just
would lock in,
crusted.
yeah.
It's locked, and it's bigger. It's bigger than normal,
Yeah.
right? You go to the PlayStation, you feel like a nice premium. You go to the Mad Cats, you need like 4-inch bigger
Yeah.
hands.
By the time you're done, your traps are just huge. I'm fucking holding it. But yeah, man, Mad Cats. Those guys changed the game though, man. Because think
This
about
is a Z2 one, right?
Yeah, think about it, man. Because as a kid and your parent, you're going there and you're like, hey, we need another controller for.
It was 29, for a controller.
It was like 19
20.
bucks.
It was 29 or 39.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, like we need a controller for Simran or something, right? He's got to play too, right? You never said,
Guys sleeping over every 2 weeks.
yeah, you never said, hey, we need another controller for me. It's for somebody else that you don't need. So you get it, you play, and it's got this shitty ass controller. It's always transparent too, so you see like all the wires and shit through it, right? But yeah, I had a Mad Cats multi-tab, man. Mad Cats.
Yeah, mine was the official. Not the official.
Port 1 to 3 worked. 4 never worked.
When did you used to use it, like at parties and stuff like that?
So
Your
I
cousins are
used
coming over and
I
stuff?
used it. So in EK, if everyone knows we're in Winnipeg, in EK we used to do like a tournament for WWF Warzone.
Yeah.
Warzone, right?
Yeah.
And then the other guy would have the N64 for like WCW Revenge. So we used to rotate. Hey man, what do you guys want to do today, right? Yeah, what do you guys want to do today? And then we'll rotate that. So I would have the multi-tab, they would have the N64. So we used to just go at it. And man, it like hours and hours. Like it probably took 6 hours just to go at it. And those were the days, man. Like those LAN parties. I don't know if you ever did LAN parties for Halo. We used to do LAN parties for those. And
Halo 2 or probably Halo 2?
we did Halo 2. Halo 2 was the prime. So
Yeah.
this is when like flat screens just started. So nobody really had flat screens. Everyone had like the 2 big TVs in the back, right? Carry all those in a car and shit.
And man, that was when like, because I remember I didn't used to have an Xbox. I used to think, holy shit, like the Xbox is so expensive, man. Because the Xbox, like the original Xbox, that was a big boy. Because that was like
It was just a computer, yeah.
It was big and it had the full green, like it looked actually like really, it looked premium and very cutting edge. And I remember seeing it, I was like, man, that thing's got to be expensive. Because that PS2 looked like shit, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It
right?
looked
It literally looked like a cake where like it's off the side and it's cut down.
It looked like a
didn't
genie
look
cake.
good. It didn't. And Xbox never, as far as I don't know, correct me on this. Xbox never did a slim for the Xbox, the first Xbox.
no.
I'm pretty sure they kept going with that big design, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There was. It's so crazy back in the day, and the controller just was this thick piece
Yeah.
of like.
But that controller,
it
you
just looked like
grab
fucking
that,
hot dog, man.
you feel at home, man. There's no, you're literally, it's kind of like you have a sofa, right? And you know, people invite you to their house, like, yeah, here's my couch or whatever. You sit down. It's very, like, it's all good. It's still a couch, but like they might have gotten like the hard seats or something, right?
Yeah.
The Xbox controller was like those, if you go to someone's house and they have that plush leather expensive couch with the recliner, that's how it felt when you grabbed that. It was a little heavy, don't get me wrong. It gave you a bicep pump, but other than that, it was,
Oh, you had a sick pump.
you could knock someone out with that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Anyone tried to rob you, you fucking just,
Right
that's,
in the
that's the
ear.
first thing you
Right in
grab,
the
right?
ear.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thanks for listening to the Thirst World Problems Podcast. For more exclusive content, follow us on Instagram at Thirst World Pod. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share.